What is your Tokyo Treat reference code? It should be whatever's in the fucking video in the comment section. Have you ever said you're fiscally conservative again? I will fuck. I don't think I ever say I'm fiscally conservative, considering how many redistributive policies I advocate for.
Do you think there should be regulation governmentally for
regulation what?
For corporations that deplatform people?
That's such a hard question. I honestly don't know the answer to that. The argument.
But when you say something like, "Wow," it almost seems like these corporations have too much power.
Well, no. My problem is that if you think corporations have too much power, it should have come way before fucking. That shows that you're a piece of shit with zero fucking empathy that doesn't care about anybody except for what directly impacts you and nobody else. So, for instance, a lot of people will say like, "Hey, corporations have too much power." Well, why do you say that? Well, say for instance, I can't get any health care. None of the health insurance companies will like do anything for me, and I'm pretty much fucked for my whole fucking life. Or hey, you know, I work for Amazon or I work for Tesla, and they're a massive fucking employer, and it's like one of the only jobs I can get where I live, and you know, man, I can't even form a fucking union to negotiate a higher wage because they'll instantly fucking fire your shit, can't you? Or you know, like, hey, you know, corporations pollute the fuck out of the environment, and there's really no accountability for a lot of the way that these people function and operate, and it's causing a lot of really bad external impacts that aren't accounted for in any market anywhere, so people aren't incentivized to do anything about it. This is really bad, right? These are all issues where you could be like, hey, you know, maybe we need a little bit of a control on corporations here, either a government incentive or some type of subsidization or something that keeps people from not doing this. Those are reasonable things. But if you say no
let's
to
form
all
a
of that,
sub-union
if you
so
say
we
no to
can't
all
get
of
it
that,
banned.
you're like, no, companies should have unlimited power, and if anything is like too big to fail or whatever, something else in the free market will step up to take its place. It's like, okay, well that's really retarded, but fine, if that's your idea, sure. But then as soon as all of your favorite people start getting banned off of like Twitter and Facebook and shit, it's like, okay, well hold on. With all these other issues, you said the free market would step in and provide an alternative platform that somebody else would come by and make solar energy or make better healthcare or cheaper fucking insurance or whatever. But now you're saying the government has to step in and intervene for social media? Well, what about these other things that are actually really fucking important to people's survival? So it makes it feel like you don't actually care about free markets or capitalism. It's one of those things where I say I have to play a game to figure out what the fuck it is you actually care about, because you don't even know your fucking first principles. You just say whatever the fuck you told the party line or whatever. Yeah.
So you just want people to be consistent.
Yes. Yeah. That's the only thing I ever want for anything. That's why I argue in favor of veganism. That's why I argue for whatever I just want people to be consistent. Because if you're not consistent,
care how evil they are.
I don't give a fuck. No, I would much rather deal. That's why I say, like, even when it comes to deplatforming, like, I don't care about people like Richard Spencer or people that are Nazis or KKK. Like, that's cool. As long as you're consistent, like, through and through, fucking that's fine. I can fuck with that. We can argue. But if you're inconsistent, then via, like, the principle of explosion, right? If you're inconsistent on a few things, then nothing that you say matters. Because that can be extrapolated to every part of your philosophies. As soon as you start saying that, like, oh, you know, I kind of care about that, but I don't care about that, and it's like, okay, well, but how? Like, this doesn't make sense. You're like, well, whatever. Then it's like, okay, well, fuck. If you're willing to accept that inconsistency there, like, I could argue for it anywhere, and then everything you say kind of falls apart, and then it makes it feel like you're not even arguing in good faith anyway, because if you're being inconsistent here, it makes it seem like there's a different underlying principle, right? So, like, for instance, when I argue against an ethnostater, and they say, I only want high IQ people in my society, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let's deport all the low IQ blacks and whites and keep all the high IQ blacks and whites. And they're like, well, no. It's like, why?
Yeah.
You're not arguing. That's not what you care about then.
Because
you're arguing.
They really just want.
Yeah, you really just want to keep the white people. Yeah.
Well, why then do? Sorry, I fucking forgot. That was a.
Why do?
Fuck, I had a good point.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, because there was a lot.
Yeah, no. You were talking about so you just want people to be consistent. I said that I.
Oh yeah. Have you ever really met someone in an argument that is actually consistent with their position?
Yep, one person.
One?
I'm OC, the pedophile guy.
He was like totally consistent with
Not only was he consistent, but he responded to and engaged with my arguments. How fucking sad is that?
So was his position that like pedophilia is okay?
His position was he was a strict act utilitarian, which means that he wants to craft a rule that only looks at a single outcome and doesn't concern itself with the rest of society. So, for instance, what Amos argued was if most people in society have had pedophilic relationships and don't turn out like really bad, that it should be a fine thing for society to accept. That was his argument. Now, nobody, I think, seriously will engage with act utilitarianism. So act utilitarianism essentially looks at like a single act and then looks at a single outcome and decides if it's good or bad. Okay. So the analogy that I gave him was, okay, well, let's say that 100 people entered a room. And you didn't tell anybody beforehand, but 100 people entered a room. Let's say that 95 of them were given $1 million and 5 of them had both of their arms chopped off. Do you think that would be okay? And he said, well, yeah, 95 people are massively benefiting, but 5 people are getting fucked. But the 95 people that benefit massively benefit. So he said that would be okay. Now, I don't think that's good.
Yeah.
Because there's two different ways to be like kind of a utilitarian. Well, there's probably tons of ways. But you have an act utilitarian, which says, you know, well, just 95 winning and 5 losing is positive. But then you've got somebody like me that would be like, I think I'm more of like a rule utilitarian, where I would say, well, we need to craft a rule that works in all of society. Now, maybe in a microcosm, 95 people going in and coming out positively and 5 going in and coming out fucked is okay. But if that was enacted in all of society, people would not be okay with that, because people would be scared to fucking do anything because they don't know if they're going to be the 5.
They have the arms
right.
up.
So, for instance, like killing one person to save 4 people, like harvesting organs, in a strict like act utilitarian sense makes sense because you're saving 4 to kill 1.
Yeah.
But if we craft that rule for all of society, well, nobody's gonna fucking go to the hospital anymore because they don't know if they're gonna be killed for their fucking organs, right? Yeah. So the overall societal consequence is worse.
But he was aware of that, was completely consistent.
Yeah. But I love that. That was fine because
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of that conversation, I can demonstrate this is what Amos believes. He honestly does believe that. And he accepts that. But I don't like that because of these reasons. And I think most people would agree with me because these types of ways are bad ways to. Yeah. And that he was totally responsive to my arguments. He acknowledged, and I don't even want to say conceded points. He just acknowledged like the things that I was saying, and it was like, yeah, I really like that.
That's actually fucking insane. So you think you can have a much more productive conversation with someone that starts from a base foundation of consistency than you can?
Oh yeah.
It's
As
not that
opposed
you
to
don't have
most people
anything
don't
to
even
talk
know
about.
like what the fuck facts they're even talking about.
The thing is that once, if someone, like, let's say that I am like a total free market dude, and I'm just like, I believe in free markets no matter what, I'm willing to accept any evil. Like, is there anything to hash out after you get to that position? If we're both just totally consistent, aren't we just agreeing with each other on, like, the debate's like sort of.
No, but I think that the thing is that I think that most people, I actually think that like 99% of humanity. I don't know why I can't take this off because I can hear you because that microphone.
Yeah.
I think that 99% of humanity, it's just a habit I have. 99% of humanity agrees on like the baser principles. So like, here is something that I think that most people actually agree with. Most people want most other people to be reasonably happy and successful.
I think so.
Even people that advocate free market, no social health care.
As long as it's not at the behest of their own life.
So basically, when I get into a debate with somebody that's morally consistent, what I try to do is I try to demonstrate this is the fundamental position that you believe in. However, your belief system runs contrary to that. So, for instance, if a conservative comes up and they say, "I believe in free markets and I'm a libertarian," and I go, "Okay, well, you also say you don't want a lot of Mexicans coming to the country, right?" They're like, yeah, so? And I'm like, well, if you truly believe in free and open markets, like free and open labor markets, and you want labor to freely move across the border, the people that you're advocating for, like the Koch brothers and whatnot, and all the big businesses, they're huge fans of immigration. They want people to come across the border to be cheaper labor for businesses. So actually, even though you support this idea, in practice, it is totally contrary to your first principle. So you need to change your belief, or change your first principle. It's much easier to change a belief than a primary first principle, right? Yeah. But that's generally what I try to do, is to illustrate to somebody that some higher level policy position or belief they have is contrary to their first principles. But now imagine trying to have that argument if they don't even know what the fuck their first principles are.
Which is 99% of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
it's
you're
just a clusterfuck. And I'm watching somebody in real time trying to like figure out what their fucking and it's like, dude, you're so gone in this conversation. Like you're
So half the time you don't even get to the fucking start of a discussion. I get it. Huh.
Yeah. What is something you think you struggle being logically consistent about? I don't think I have like any huge struggles right now. I don't know if you think so. Feel free to point them out. I really don't like the, is it the Oxford style of debate? I really don't like the idea of 2 people given 2 minutes to talk. I really like, I don't know if it's possible to do it. I would imagine with Shapiro you could, because he's not the kind of person like screams at people. The idea that like, you can stop me immediately if I start a premise that you disagree with, then we can go from there. I really like that form of conversation more, but I don't know if that would work. Dharma seemed consistent. Oh, in our conversation verbally, Dharma was very consistent. Yeah, for sure. Do you think Trainwreck's emotional breakdown is being influenced by exposure to the Molly memes? No, I don't think he cares about that much. I think that was just you dumbasses baiting him. You always say that, and sometimes you still get annoyed by that. I never, ever get annoyed by somebody interrupting me to, like, clarify something, or somebody interrupting me because they disagree with the premise. I get annoyed when they don't understand what the fuck I'm saying. That's the only thing that irritates me. Or if they're dumb. What about Vegan Gains? Oh, Vegan Gains is actually really intelligent too. I didn't mind talking to that guy. How much money would it take to debate Brittany Venti again? It would have to happen on YouTube. I don't want to get banned.
I remember that. That was quite a show.
Darth Dawkins was one of the most frustrating debates to listen to. Yeah, that's okay. That was some good ass memes.